Good afternoon. I'm Anne de Kerkhoff, and on behalf of my entire team at Reed Medium, I'm delighted to welcome you to MIPCOM 2011's Personality of the Year Keynote by Anne Sweeney. We're incredibly privileged to have Anne, a true pioneer of the global world of entertainment, join us here today to share her vision of the future. As co-chair of Disney Media Networks and president of the Disney ABC Television Group, Anne's leadership extends to well over 100 channels, hundreds of millions of viewers in over 170 countries. Throughout her tenure, Disney has, of course, created some of the most successful live-action series and popular kids' franchises globally. For me, this success was embodied in our Kids Consumer Lab a few days ago at MIP Junior, when Sophie, our 10-year-old panelist, was asked why she liked Disney so much. And she responded, "Disney is magic." As I was researching Disney ABC and looking at some of the interviews that Anne's given in the last few days, there were three key recurring themes that emerged and for me summarized Anne's leadership and vision. The first was a total focus on viewers and their needs. The second, global innovation and experimentation. And the third, teamwork. To use her own words, Disney puts their viewers ahead of the business model, and Anne credits a lot of the success of the company on this relentless focus on understanding consumer needs. Anne Sweeney is a true game changer in the new world of TV in all its forms. Under her stewardship, Disney ABC was the first media company to put television content onto digital platforms, the first media company again to deliver an iPad app, and the first media company to launch an ad-supported full episode player online. Anne's belief in innovation is reflected in the portfolio of over 20 technology innovation patents that her group has pending. Disney's world is about the perfect marriage of great content with great enabling technology. Anne's warmth and charisma shines throughout all her accomplishments and media presence. As a leader, she drives a team spirit and cohesiveness that is viewed as a key pillar of the Disney success. Before we hear from Anne, we're going to see a video showcasing the entertainment universe that her leadership has created.
Who's the man?
We're a hit.
Fantastic!
I like it. Let's do this.
What if there's an emergency and we don't have TV to tell us what to do?
Oh my God!
I know who the killer is.
I will make sure we have a baby. I promise you.
I can't face anything that comes my
Nice to meet you.
But the thought of being without you is the one thing
Oh, you guys are the best.
'Cause we shine together and we'll shine through forever. You make me strong when you're right here by my side.
Avengers, assemble!
I am alive again!
Perfect. I know what we're gonna do today.
Come on, show me what you got.
Please join me in welcoming Anne Sweeney on stage? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Anne, for that beautiful and wonderful introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. From the beginning, the television business has always been forward-looking to the next episode, the next season, the next advance in technology that will change everything and take us to a new level. And that's why I was drawn to it in the first place, and why I continue to love it. So I thank you for the opportunity to talk about the future from my perspective and from the collective experience of the thousands of people around the world who share my passion for this business and work tirelessly to make the Disney ABC Television Group a leader in quality content and innovation. The last time I was on the MIPCOM stage, we were talking about the future of our industry in a digital world. And it was a continuation of a conversation we had been having for years about the possibilities, the threats to our business, and the challenges ahead. Some were urging caution, uneasy about risking the status quo for an uncertain future. Others saw that same uncertainty as a huge opportunity, realizing there was no way to win in the 21st century using a 20th century business model. We knew it was time for us, as an industry, to look forward again, to work with tech leaders to create a common ground where we could all succeed by giving consumers what they want. In 2005, Apple gave us that opportunity to make the first critical move to put great content and digital technology together. Within 6 months, we were selling our content on iTunes and streaming it online with ads on abc.com in the US, while delivering it to mobile phone users in Korea via TU Media as well. And we have never looked back. We've leveraged technology to create new ways to give viewers what they want, while protecting our content from piracy and generating additional revenue. As a result, the line between content and technology is blurring. We're working together to create seamless viewing experiences that can be increasingly personalized by consumers. Today, the Disney ABC Television Group is evolving as a content creation engine and a technology innovator, with at least 24 patents in process for technology we've invented to further our business. With digital technology, we're doing things no one even imagined when I started in this industry. We're doing things none of us could imagine just a couple of years ago, for that matter. We're putting our popular ABC Studios content on screen around the world within hours of its US broadcast, and sometimes simultaneously instead of months later. We're adding flexibility to our distribution window, premiering new series in global markets before they're available to US audiences, like we did with our hit drama Body of Proof last year. We're creating feature film quality content on a television budget and schedule. And what was impossible just a few years ago is now common practice, thanks to digital technology that allows production teams to work seamlessly from multiple locations. One of the most promising new shows from ABC Studios, which has already been sold to more than 80 territories, is a fast-paced thriller called Missing, featuring Ashley Judd and a stellar international cast. Filmed entirely on location in Europe, with shoots in Rome, Vienna, Prague, Dubrovnik, and Istanbul. And for those of you who missed it Monday night, Missing was here in the Grand Auditorium, and I'd love you to take a quick look to see what all the buzz is about.
Hi, babe.
I'm sensing that your son wants to talk to you, although he's being awfully subtle about it.
Just get to the mushy part already.
I love you, Becca.
I love you too. Safe flight.
applied to a summer architecture program. I got accepted. It's in Rome. Sto studiando sodo.
What does that mean?
I'm studying very hard. I gotta go, Mom.
Bye, sweetheart. I love you.
I love you too.
Michael moved out of the storm 2 weeks ago, and no one knows where he went. Something's happened to my son.
What is your purpose in Italy?
I'm here to visit my son. I will do anything to get my boy. Who are you? I'm Becca Winstone. You're maid of honor. You helped me grieve the death of my husband, and you have helped me raise my son. And I used to be somebody else. I was a trained operative for the CIA. People you work for, do they give second chances?
We're not having CIA personnel running their own agenda.
I am not CIA. I am a mother looking for her son. He knows I'll find him.
Exciting, heart-stopping, and exactly what I was talking about. Digital technology didn't disrupt our business, it transformed it. Digital didn't weaken the power of television, it unleashed it. We're giving people more quality and options than ever before, and they're responding. Tuning in, logging on, downloading, streaming, buying, renting, devouring our content any way they can get it. This year, people around the world will watch 140 billion more hours of television than they did last year. That's 4.5 trillion viewing hours. Our global audience will grow by 40 million by the end of this year to 3.7 billion people, or roughly half of the world's current population. According to a recent study by Deloitte, TV shows are the most common conversation topics around the world and the subject of more than 1 billion tweets this year alone. And no wonder the study concludes that in today's world, TV is the medium around which all others revolve. And the people in this room did that. Collectively, we made that happen. Television, from broadcast to broadband, is now bigger than ever. Content creators and distributors working together to innovate globally and integrate those ideas locally into each market created this reality. Our future is only limited by our commitment to keep the momentum going. And now that television has been set free from all constraints, including time, place, and all previous definitions, what comes next? How will the people in this room expand what television means as an industry and an entertainment experience for the 3.7 billion people watching now and the ones who will follow? Today, television is the most powerful medium in the world. Tomorrow, it will also be the most personal. There is no one future for television. It will be defined differently for everyone. Think about how you use technology on the flight to this conference. How many different ways you customized each experience to suit your needs and preferences. I used the time to catch up on the production of some of our new shows. I loaded exactly what I needed in the way that I wanted to see it. I watched at my convenience, stopping when I felt like it, switching between the video and other functions on the device, like email, to connect with my team, ask questions, share opinions. Nothing like getting my opinion from 30,000 feet. Now, it may be impossible to predict what television will look like 5 or 10 years from now, because the odds are it will look different to everybody. The majority will be perfectly happy to watch television on their sets at home, which is still by far the most popular way to watch TV, with viewers in many markets spending more than 4 hours a day watching in this traditional way. Now, others will want to watch television on every single device they own and shape the experience to their individual expectations. This demand started with kids and young adults who have never lived without the kind of personal technology that lets them customize their world. But great technology, like great content, always finds a bigger audience. Watching my mother posting pictures of her grandchildren, sharing her YouTube favorites with friends, and sending what little emails she cares to do, it's clear that the tech generation is the first audience demo defined by behavior, not age. This is the tech-savvy, global, multi-generational audience driving the future of our business. And every viewer who follows them will expect to personalize their experience too. Giving viewers a way to interact with our content makes it more relevant, more personal, and more meaningful to them. And we're moving forward to create those opportunities for fans of our shows. In March, we leveraged iPads, iPhones, and iPod Touches to give movie fans unprecedented access to the Oscars, which aired on our ABC television network in the US and was carried by our partners around the world. The interactive Oscar.com digital experience included a Backstage Pass app that took viewers beyond what they saw on television, with streaming video from more than 30 cameras placed throughout the event. Viewers using the app could switch between the cameras at will to get the story they wanted to see, a story unique to them because it was created by them. Now, here's John Lasseter from Disney Pixar on the Oscar red carpet, watching himself on Oscar.com. I love that clip. I love that he was using our app, and I really love the fact that Toy Story 3 went on to win the Oscar that night. And I'm proud that our Oscar digital experience was just honored with an Emmy Award for Outstanding Creative Achievement in Interactive Media, our 5th consecutive win in this category. Social media is another way viewers are personalizing their television experience by taking it off the screen and sharing it with friends and other fans. That's why we incorporate the Facebook and Twitter share features across all of our digital content sites. We're also launching a Discuss feature on abc.com that will pull in conversations about our shows from social networks across the internet. Our goal is to give fans one easy-to-use location to connect with others around the world and join the discussion anywhere it's happening. We're focusing on social networks because that's where our viewers are. Around the world, social networks will have more than 1 billion unique members by the end of this year, and the majority of them will be sharing video content, including the short-form video content we provide to further engage our viewers. Now, this year alone, 52% of social network users in EMEA and Asia Pacific say they've watched a video that was shared by a friend, while 68% of the people on social networks in Latin America did the same thing. They're also sharing via Twitter, and the percentage of Twitter users increased by triple digits last year in every region of the world. That's the reality our audience lives in, and they expect it to be part of their entertainment experience. Our ABC Family brand does this brilliantly by targeting young adult viewers, also known as millennials, and reflecting the world in which they live, including the rise of social media and the ever-increasing role it plays in their lives. By creating content tailored to this audience and pairing it with technology relevant to them, ABC Family was the first truly social network, engaging viewers before, during, and after our shows through social media sites and incorporating the technology into ABC Family storylines themselves. By understanding young adult viewers and understanding and delivering the content they want in ways that matter to them, ABC Family has delivered 7 consecutive years of growth, becoming a top-performing channel in the US and an emerging global brand with content like Kyle XY, Greek, and Jane by Design. This combination of a strong brand, great content, and innovative technology has been a winning formula across our portfolio, including our kids' businesses, starting with Disney Channel, which has grown to 101 channels worldwide, reaching more than 300 million homes in 169 countries. We've kept the creative momentum going with the recent addition of hits like Fish Hooks, Shake It Up, Good Luck Charlie, and regional versions like Best of Luck Nikki, as well as new launches like Ant Farm. And we've got more on the way for 2012. We followed our Disney Channel success with the launch of Disney XD as a global multi-platform brand for boys. With hits like Phineas and Ferb, Kickin' It, and Pair of Kings, Disney XD has performed incredibly well for us, immediately and dramatically improving performance over the brand it replaced in every market so far. We've also reimagined our preschool brand, launching the new multi-platform Disney Junior for our youngest viewers. We just launched this new brand in the US in February with a programming block on Disney Channel, an integrated website, video on demand, mobile, and electronic sell-through. So far, we've introduced Disney Junior in 136 countries with programming in 21 languages, bringing preschool hits like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Handy Manny, and Jake and the Neverland Pirates to more than 61 million homes. Still in its first year, Disney Junior has been an unqualified success, delivering double-digit ratings growth in many territories. Everything we've done over the past 5 years, and everything that comes next, is focused on giving consumers around the world the kind of television they want. Following the success of our Hot from the US video on demand platform, which offers hit series to viewers around the world within 24 to 48 hours of the US broadcast, our London team created a new service called ABC TV on Demand. This latest innovation connects fans to full seasons of hit ABC Studios series like Grey's Anatomy and Criminal Minds on demand, immediately following their local broadcast. The service has launched in the UK, Portugal, and Germany so far, to huge success, and is coming soon to other markets. Viewers now have many different ways to watch our programming. They can tune in via broadcast, cable, or satellite. They can stream it on online players and mobile apps. They can see it via Hulu or MVPD's on-demand services. And they can also rent them from Netflix or buy them from iTunes. Digital technology has unleashed our power to provide a great personal entertainment experience for every single viewer in the world, all 3.7 billion of them. And every new opportunity we create for viewers creates new revenue streams for our businesses and for our partners around the world. The more personalized television gets, the less passive the experience will become. Television has always been something you watch. Now, increasingly, it's also something you do. That's the future of television. Great content in the hands of consumers who can interact with it on different platforms and create the exact experience they want to have with it. Television has been unleashed. By working together to build a common ground where creative content and innovative technology meet, we've taken TV out of the box and set it free to be so much more. In the process, we've created the opportunity to define our own destiny and to build businesses that are bigger, more dynamic, and more profitable than we ever imagined. The future of television is unknown because its potential is now unlimited. The possibilities are endless, and we look forward to working with you to make the most of them. Thank you.
Anne, that was a great speech. Thank you so much. Let's go sit down and continue. Hi, I'm Anna Carugati. I'm the Group Editorial Director of World Screen. And Anne, is it possible that 5 years ago we did this? How
we were
quickly,
right here.
How quickly does time go by, and how much has this business changed since?
I feel like everything has changed except great content and our need to make sure that we're able to deliver it in new and exciting ways to our audience.
Right. That was a wonderful speech and a lot to digest. And one of the first things that comes to mind is you oversee a number of different divisions and teams. How do you instill that desire to try new things and to take certain calculated risks in all of the people who work with you?
Well, I honestly believe it starts with our company. The Walt Disney Company is a very innovative, very exciting place to be. Our boss, Bob Iger, is a huge fan of technology and always encourages us to take risk. But I really do believe that the success has come from the people who work there. We hire people who are curious, people who want to push the envelope, people who want to know more, people who want to create new ways of doing things.
Now, it seems almost every day there's a new platform or a new device. Or how do you decide which one to try something new on? What criteria do you need to see in place before you think, okay, let's try the iPad or let's try iTunes?
Yeah, it's a great question, and the answer is we decide very carefully. I remember when the iTunes announcement was made in October of 2005. My phone was ringing off the hook the next morning, and everyone was calling saying, I want the iTunes deal. And we realized when we were doing the iTunes deal that we have a criteria for working with people. We want to work with companies that will respect our IP, that will protect us from piracy. We want to work with companies that are strong brands, that have a strong and meaningful relationship with their consumers. We want to work with companies who will market their platforms and not just use our shows to build a business. And we want to do a good deal for the Walt Disney Company. So we would put all of these requests, all of these new platforms, all of these new ideas through our criteria, and that's how we made future decisions.
Right. Now, shortly after we met the first time, there was a lot of fear about monetizing content. You know, companies had great assets, but how can you make them profitable or return or protect the producers behind the program? What have you learned about monetizing content? And there's that phrase that is bandied about too much that I don't particularly like, but the analog dollars and the digital pennies, we're beyond that, aren't we?
I think we're way beyond that, and I think that we have to look at these opportunities long term. And I think that the digital dimes comment was a very short-sighted comment. And I think the way we look at the future, the way we look at digital technology and the impact it will have on our business is opportunistically and long-term.
Right. Now, watching is becoming much more personal. You know, yes. iPads, laptops, from wherever. And in this environment, channels are still very important, I imagine, for many reasons, branding, whatever. How, even though viewers want it when they want it and how they want it, What do the linear channels have to do to remain relevant and important in this ecosystem?
Well, I think the linear channels need two things. I think they need strong brands, and those brands need to be very, very relevant to their consumers. And the second thing they need is great content. They need to keep pushing the creative envelope. They need to keep finding the new stories, the new characters, whether you're a kid watching Disney Channel, a millennial watching ABC Family, or an adult watching ABC. We should always be challenging you. We should always, leave you wanting more or leave you asking the question. Hopefully the clip of Lost, or I'm sorry, Lost, can't ever leave Lost, Missing, left people with that feeling of what's going to happen next? Is she going to find him? What's really going on there? So I think it's critical keeping your brand fresh and keeping your creative fresh. But what we've learned, which is so interesting to me, is that the more devices people have and have to use to access content, the more television they watch. And that watching is additive to our linear channels, not cannibalistic.
We were saying before, when television came about decades ago, everybody thought the movie industry would die.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we're seeing the same pattern repeat. Just because there are more ways to watch it, it doesn't mean that people aren't watching anymore, right? More people are watching.
It just means that they have more opportunity, they have more choices. I remember when cable television happened, everyone said broadcast is dead. Right. And then satellite happened, and everyone said cable is dead. And then DVDs happened, and everyone thought everything was gone. And nothing was gone. Instead, what was happening is that one technology would trigger another technology, would trigger another one, and it was creating, again, more opportunity to sample, more opportunity to try things you otherwise wouldn't have.
And the fuel that is the core of everything is great programming, right? I mean, that's the key to everything.
It is for us. Yeah. It is, we talk a lot and often about creative excellence in our group. And we're very, very focused on storytelling. We're very focused on characters. I love the creative process in every single one of our groups. I also love our distribution team and how innovative they have been, with the birth of or the access to digital technology. Because it's one thing to have great stories, it's quite another thing to get them into the homes and the hands of people who would want to see them. And I talked a little bit about ABC TV On Demand that came from our London team. And that was a fantastic moment. That was a moment where they walked into my office and said, we have an idea, we can create this technology, we believe that our partners will want it, will enjoy it, will use it. And it's thrilling to me to work with smart people who are just ready to go.
And I imagine the international teams must be very happy to get their hands on Missing. I mean, an international show like that?
Yes. It has a lot of buzz.
You and I both have children who are in that millennial age group.
We do.
We know that they are challenging but inspirational as well, right? Tell me again the story, because it's so fascinating, how you and your team, and I believe Paul Lee at the time was instrumental in this, in identifying that age group, not just as a number group, but as a distinct group of viewers who would sort of revolutionize how we view television.
Yes, this is the ABC Family story. Disney bought Fox Family in 2001. And at the time, there was a lot written about the acquisition. But what we realized very quickly was that we had an amazing piece of beachfront property with Fox Family. And we very quickly, and this was really the genius of Paul Lee and Kate Juergens, looked out and said, what's missing? Who is underserved? And it's a very tough question to ask when you see so many choices. But what they realized is that there were a group between the ages of 14 and at the very high end, 30, who were underserved. Now, these people were interesting to us because they had never known a world without technology. These kids had grown up with cell phones and so much more. So they became very interesting to us. And when we looked at the options that they had out there for storytelling, we didn't see any. The WB had collapsed. There really weren't many opportunities. So what Paul and Kate and their team did that was so smart was to find the stories that would resonate with that audience. And then they started to use social media and really created a force. And this is a network that has grown every single year, now run by Michael Riley. Kate Juergens is still leading the charge in programming. And every time I turn around, I'm getting an email saying, we've just had our best month ever. And then the next month I get another email saying, we've just had our best month ever. But they have continued to build, and I truly believe their success comes from paying attention to this audience, staying on top of what they're thinking about, what devices they're using, making sure that we're relevant, that we're using tools like Facebook and Twitter to our advantage.
That age group certainly likes to communicate a lot. They have a lot to express.
They
don't
do.
They?
They do.
Do you ever hear from your children, how did you live without DVDs, or how did you live without an iPad? You know?
I don't think they knew there was a world before all of this.
They can't figure it, can't they?
No, but my favorite line came from my daughter quite a few years ago now. I said something about, well, could you email that to me? And she looked at me, she said, Mom, email's for old people. Oh, God. I better start texting or I'm really going to be left behind.
My daughter said, you really had an underprivileged childhood because you didn't have a DVR.
I know. Okay. How did we live?
And yet here we are. Right?
Here we are.
Disney Junior launched in a number of international territories before its official launch in the US. And you mentioned to me in a previous conversation that there was a lot to be learned from those international launches. And you particularly like that sharing of information, don't you?
I love it. We learned so much from our teams around the world about Disney Junior. Now, this is a very, very important brand to the Walt Disney Company because when you look at Disney, you know, we all know that Disney comes into our lives at a very, very early age. So it was very important, and we had opportunities outside of the US before we had the opportunity inside the US. So we took advantage of it. We said, great, let's see what this looks like. What does this feel like as a programming block? What does this feel like as a 24-hour channel? What are parents' expectations, caregivers? How are kids responding? What age group should we be looking toward? And then in the early days, we were calling it Playhouse Disney. Right. And we've recently renamed it Disney Junior. And I think we learned a valuable brand lesson. Leading with your name instead of using it behind has proven to be very effective because it clearly identifies the channels and programming blocks as the place for the younger Disney fans. But I do love the fact that our international teams went first. We're creating a lot of content for Disney Junior outside of the United States, and I believe together we have created a terrific global brand.
If we look at the United States now, I read somebody who mentioned that Modern Family, the sitcom, is doing for the comedy genre what The Cosby Show did back in the 80s at another time when comedy was sort of having a low profile. Mm-hmm. Is comedy coming back, and how is Modern Family helping revitalize the genre?
Well, I truly believe, and not just because it received the Emmy for Best Comedy this year, but I truly believe what Steve Levitan and Chris Lloyd have created with our friends at 20th Television is an extraordinary show. And I do agree with the statement that it probably is the most important comedy than The Cosby Show, because they have some very important things in common. They are both authentic. These are real families in our world. And I think it's that authenticity, it's their relevance, and let's not forget the fantastic writing and the amazing characters that we've been given that keep us coming back and really keep us seeing ourselves in each of those families. But I think it is a defining show for ABC, and it's also set a very, very high bar for us about what comedy means today.
Right, right. We've talked a lot about different forms of entertainment programming. In the digital world, though, isn't news and information, are they well tailored to all the devices and all the opportunities that digital offer?
Well, I think given what we have in digital technology today, I think they are, extremely well suited. And we announced just this week a distribution deal with Yahoo to have ABC News be the premier provider of news to Yahoo. And we launched with GMA.com. George Stephanopoulos interviewed President Obama on our first day on Yahoo. So it's very exciting. You can expect to see a show on ABC News Yahoo from Christiane Amanpour and many other of our talented journalists. But I do believe that digital, ABC News was actually out before many other news organizations utilizing digital, not just to distribute the news, but also to record the news. And we've moved increasingly toward digital reporters, people that we send out into the field with their own camera, their own ability to edit, and their ability to send it back to ABC News in New York. And I think that's changed the way news is done. I mean, news used to operate with much larger crews. And, sometimes, they were able to move incredibly quickly, but a digital reporter can move like the wind. And I also think there's a stark difference in the pieces. I mean, they feel very personal to me. They feel very close. I really feel that we have erased a great deal of the distance.
Yeah, right. I'm sitting here as a reporter today because eons ago when I first started, I wanted to be a cameraman, but I couldn't handle the weight of the camera on my shoulder. Maybe if I were born now, it would be different. But
or
yes,
you could still do it.
It's so immediate now.
Yes.
It's no longer the news and us. Don't you find that there's a lot of and people want to interact and comment and be part of the conversation?
They do. In fact, we started using Facebook with ABC News, I think it was back in 2008. We used it during the election because we were sensing that we could see it online, we could see it from the comments, but we were also feeling that social media was a huge plus here. People not only wanted to understand the news and see the news, they wanted to talk about it with their friends. So we used Facebook Connect. Starting with the election, we used it again during Michael Jackson's memorial service. So it has been, these are very, very important tools, not just for entertainment, which I discussed in my speech, but also for news as well going forward.
Right. Now, you oversee a number of different divisions who all do different things. Tell us a little bit about your management style. What have you found to be the best ways to get the best out of the people who work for you? And I read in an article, and I don't remember the magazine, Forbes or Fortune, where you talked about the idea of stapling people together. Now that sounds painful, but it's not, right?
No, I promise. No employees were injured in the stapling. No, I do believe, and I have as I said, just a wonderful, very, very smart team. And I do believe that we are all responsible for each other's successes and failures. And, we're aligned against our goals for the year. We know what our financial goals are. We know what our big goals are from Disney. We know what our divisional goals are. And it's one thing to know them and embrace them, but it's quite another thing to understand that the head of news sitting next to the head of distribution, sitting next to the head of ABC Family or Disney Channel, all share this. And the stapled to each other idea really came to me several companies ago when I had a person in a programming job and a person in a production job. And I realized that to be successful, they needed to be in constant communication. And that's where stapled together really came from. But I do believe that my team believes that. I believe they root for each other. I've seen our staff meetings are really, really interesting because they're not status reports. We don't go around the room and say, how was your day? What are you doing? How are your numbers? I have all of that information coming to me via email and other technology. Our staff meetings are about, here's the agenda. Here's the big idea we need to tackle today. Here's the big problem. And it could be your problem that goes to the top of the agenda. But everybody in the room knows that they are there to not just support you, but to challenge you, to give you new ideas. And there's a similar process that goes on at Pixar with the directors when they're working on a film. But it's a safe place where constructive criticism happens, problems are solved, and progress is made.
Do you consider yourself stapled to any of your co-executives?
I do. I feel very stapled to them. And I feel stapled to my peers in the company as well.
Right, all right. Now, you said several jobs ago is when you came up with this idea. You're no stranger to MIPCOM, are you? I mean, you came here often earlier in your career. How does it feel to be back?
Oh, it's thrilling. And of course, I've done my memory lane jaunt through what we used to, maybe it's still called the bunker, but I had to go into the bunker. No, I came here originally when I was at Nickelodeon with Jerry Laybourne and Linda Kahn, who showed me the ropes. And in those days, the prime real estate was in the bunker. That's where Viacom, our parent company, had their stand. And in those days, Nickelodeon bought a lot of material from all over the world. And that's how I came to meet many people in the international community, was really as a buyer first. And then continued those relationships during my time at Fox and now at Disney. But it's always been very important to me. I think it is our time in our industry when our world comes together. It's our time to renew those relationships, to talk about the future. We're always talking about the future at MIPCOM. We're always talking about what's next. We're always talking about what's new. And I think that is the great through line of the industry that we're privileged to work in.
And if there's any takeaway from our conversation and from the speech, there are a lot of opportunities in this future, isn't there? Are you bullish about what's to come?
I'm bullish about it, and I'm so optimistic because I feel that, for many, many years we would talk endlessly about what could happen, what might happen, and we didn't have the tools to make any of it happen. And it was really that moment with iTunes when things started to spark, and we started to not just believe they would happen, but to take charge and to make them happen. And our digital team created the full episode player that is the rocket fuel for abc.com. And I think people began to feel empowered and feeling that they could and they would take charge of their future. And that's what's made it such an exciting ride.
I would go on forever, but I think we have another session coming up. Thank you so much, and congratulations on the Personality of the Year award.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.